Okay, welcome to the third episode of Stories from the Sidelines. This is a podcast coming out of the media gang to talk about all the unsung heroes of tournament paintball. We bring on our media friends, refs, going to have some league owners, commentators, bring a bunch of different perspectives from tournament paintball that people really don't usually hear about. So today is our guest, Ryan Wilson, pretty well-known ref in NXL. We're really happy to have you on. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us.
My pleasure, guys. Glad to be on here. It's been a long time without paintball, I'll give you that much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Corona, the whole thing kind of shutting everything down, but I mean, it's starting to look like paintball's coming back a little bit. We'll see what happens with events, but hopefully Cup still happens, and we'll see you down there.
Got to see how the Canadian government acts. That's the big question right now.
True. I mean, we have our boy Camille, Pineapple Productions in Swift. He's been trying to make a trip down, but the problem is he won't be let back into Canada. So
yeah. So like I can come to America, no problem. Like I can fly down, but once I come back into Canada, I got to self quarantine for 14 days by law. And they cracked down on that. So like, yeah, I'm out 2 weeks of work. The girlfriend and like my roommates and stuff, like they have to self quarantine because I'll be with them, so they're not going to be able to work. So yeah, it's a whole like process. So until that gets lifted, it's like kind of not feasible to make my way down there, unfortunately.
It happens, but things will change and things will go back to normal soon enough. But to kind of dive right into it, I mean, I've seen you ref NXLs. I'm assuming that you've been refing for a long time. I mean, how long actually have you been a ref? And like, is it just a job, or like, do you like thoroughly enjoy being a ref?
Well, I started refing at a local field and like working there, just in rec stuff, probably when I was 11. So that was 15 years ago now. So after I did that for a while, I started competing in CXBL, the Canadian League that was around. Which
I missed that league. I was gonna do that after I graduated college to play CXBL, and then it died off, and that was the saddest thing ever.
Yeah, CXBL back in the day was some of the prime of paintball. They invented basically the X-ball format, like 2 25-minute halves, 15 balls a second. It was a bloodbath back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I played that for a while, and then went to college and decided I need to make money and not spend money playing paintball. So I got into reffing CXBL because I had so much experience just reffing like at the rec field and playing experience like tournament paintball and such. So started doing that, and yeah, it just kind of took off. I was doing it in awesome. Ontario here for like 5-6 weekends a year, and then got on the board with Tim Stapleton, which you guys all know him very well, I'm sure, from reffing, and he started getting me into the U.S. and getting me started. So I got to give a hats off to Tim. He's kind of my mentor that got me into this whole thing, and yeah, I'm just living it now.
Nice.
Tim is good people.
I've heard the name before, never met the gentleman, but I've only heard good things about him.
Tim's a really good dude. I learned a lot from him, and yeah, he basically took me from reffing a little bit and made it into basically a career.
Nice. I mean, if you're saying that it's a career, I mean, how many leagues do you actually ref? Do you have a favorite league? Like, have you been to Europe to go ref over there?
Yeah, so I went to Europe since their first event that they did over there at the NXL. So I was over there for their first one, and I've done all of them except for the France events. So like Chantilly, I did the first France one in Chartres, but I didn't do any of the Chantilly ones.
Chantilly is beautiful. I played one Chantilly, and it was crazy how it's like you'd think that where the event is, it's like that's a castle. But what a lot of people don't know, that's actually the horse stable for the castle down the road.
Oh my gosh.
Dog's stuck in the basement barking. It's going to be annoying. Give me a second.
No worries. Hey, I mean, the dogs are barking. I mean, you gotta go handle that.
Yeah.
That was the quickest handle I've ever seen, actually. I thought
she's a big hound.
I thought that was going to be way more of a process. Like, I'm going to be gone like 10 minutes to kind of handle it.
Nice. No, she's just stuck behind the door and needs to be let out. She's got a little anxiety when she's all alone.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, I
Yeah.
mean, as an NXL ref, so it sounds like Tim got you to becoming an NXL ref and really started your career there. I mean,
Yeah.
were you originally always a head ref? Did you start off like?
No, so my first, I'd say 2 seasons of refing, I was just a regular ref. I always refed on Tim's field and like was usually matched up across from him in the 50 on the snake side. Um, and then, yeah, but I guess it's 3 years ago now, I want to say, maybe 2 seasons ago. I got bumped up into head ref and took over from there. So yeah, it's been a ride ever since. It's definitely had its up and downs, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, that's for sure. Um, last 2 seasons, I did 42 and 45 events each year.
Oh, oh my God, Jesus!
Yeah,
It's like almost an event every week. Jesus.
Yeah, so I had like 7 weekends off last year, so it wasn't a long season.
Yeah, it's like way longer than any season I would have thought of. Are you doing like indoor leagues as well? Like,
yeah,
how
so up here in Canada, there's 2 indoor leagues. 2 winters ago, I went over to Russia to teach a clinic with Tim when we first got switched over with MXL in Europe, and then refed in their indoor tournament series called Ice Ball. That was crazy. I have a picture actually. The time clock after the event was over switched to like the time of day, and it was 12:31 a.m. Monday morning.
What?
So we refed Monday club paintball like 12:30 a.m. Monday.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
We did 30 hours of refing in a 37-hour span.
Oh no!
Was there like a dinner break or just like midnight snacks and stuff?
They don't have this facility anymore, but so at the old facility in Moscow, it's an indoor dome, full turf field with raised second story spectator seating and everything.
What?
Every single team got their own change room that had showers and stuff in it. There's a cafeteria on site, so we.
Why don't they have this
lunch
anymore?
And dinner. So in Moscow, like property is super hard to come by, and it just that field in the middle of Moscow had to be sold, and so
I mean,
they're rebuilding new and starting over and stuff. But
they're rebuilding the field. They're not even selling it for like.
Well, they're trying to figure out new ways for Russian Legion to practice indoors and do all this kind of stuff. Gotcha. I'm pretty sure they found another facility. Don't quote me on this, but I know their old facility that I was at is no longer there.
Damn!
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, so you do clinics there, or you did a clinic there. Or do you do a lot of clinics? I mean, especially if you did 42 or 43 events last year. Like, how do you fit in the time for clinics?
So I did a clinic over in Russia. That was the Friday night before the event. I did a clinic with all the refs. So we got all the refs together. Sorry, that was Thursday night and Friday night. So both nights before. To be a ref in Russia, they get together. I think it's the Tuesday or Wednesday after every single event, and they go over things that like went well and things that didn't go well, and they like communicate and everything. And every ref actually has a job other than just reffing. Like certain refs, they're responsible for snacks. They're responsible for bringing the drinks and stuff, and that's all reimbursed and everything back to them. But everyone has a job perspective. It's also to come into the business side of it to keep the refs afloat. Cool. So it works that way. And then they get together all the time and they go over what worked and what didn't work, which is a lot of leagues they lack. They kind of just bring us in for the weekend. We ref, we leave, we go home. And then next event, it's kind of new guys. So over there, it's the same crew of guys every single event, all the time, every single time.
Wow, that's
pretty cool.
That's some serious dedication.
Yeah.
I mean, like you actually have to take a week-long course over there to learn how to ref.
Oh wow.
I mean, they used to do that for PSP. I had a buddy who used to ref PSP, and I remember he said that he got like his PSP ref certification. Do they do that for NXL or like?
They do NXL ref certifications. CJ does most of them. So basically, you just get in touch with CJ or Tom Cole, and they can get you in touch with CJ. Just reach out to the NXL. They usually do them in every host city about 2 weeks before the event, give or take, usually. To try and get some local refs. So like Texas, they usually do one every year down there. They do one out in LA this year, down at WC area. Chicago, they've done them. Basically,
Florida.
when there's enough people to get together, Florida, they've done them a bunch. When they need refs and there's enough refs in the area that want to get their NXL certs, then yeah, they do the certifications that way.
So, I mean, you're saying that it's like all these hubs, but I mean, for people that aren't in these hubs, like, are people like actually flying in to get their certifications? And like, I don't really know how like the back end works.
Yeah, so like if you're to get NXL certified, if you can be vouched for by one of the core NXL guys that is refed with you at local events and stuff and can get you vetted, you can definitely get past that certification process just because you have the experience, you've been vetted, and somebody that's in the ranks knows your talent and skill and can vouch for you. So I do bring in quite a few people out here from Canada that can't exactly just go down to the US for a weekend to take a course. So I teach them up here and vet them up here and then bring them down from there. A lot of it's just getting in the local series, and then there's enough NXL refs at the local series you get picked up that way.
Cool.
I mean, the local series is the easiest way to get in.
Yeah, I mean, I live in New Jersey, and it's like I always feel like I just took pictures at an event called TSXL. It's like a Tri-State X-Ball League, and they pulled like the semi-pro newbies guys, or like maybe some of the D3 guys, but like they're the guys that ref. Like I haven't been to a field where it's either some sort of like higher divisional team refing, or just like whatever D3 team that's like a home field team that's refing. Like I never. Other than like at NXL where you have to be like vetted or certified, like that's pretty interesting that at certain like these hot spots of paintball, like they do have these like small collections of people that are like,
absolutely.
I'm a ref.
There's probably, I want to say 5 or 6 consistent Canadian guys that go down to every single NXL event to ref. And then I'd probably say majority of the rest of them comes from across the U.S. equally distributed, but we still do get like 10 to 15 of the European guys that come over every year.
Yeah, I see a couple of these like guys from like England. It's like the same. I bump
the English
them,
guys,
like, all the time. Yeah, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. The guy with a huge beard and stuff. Yeah, I bump into them like almost every event.
Then there's the Slovak guys, and there's a couple Russians that come over and stuff.
Yeah,
those are good guys. Some of the refs from Europe, not going to bash on my American refs that I ref lots with, but some of the refs from Europe are some of the best refs I've ever refed with.
Nice.
They take their job very seriously, and they don't mind being told what to do. And it's not like, you know what I mean, when shitty situations, somebody's got to do the dirty work.
No, 100%. I mean,
not everyone wants to get dirty.
Yeah.
No, not everybody wants to get dirty. And I mean, on the flip side, especially like with so many refs coming from outside of the US, like I've seen and walked around the fields, especially like as somebody that's doing media, like you kind of like hear all the conversations. Like I hear that a lot of players are upset that some of these refs don't speak English. You know what I mean? Some of them are Spanish and coming from like Latin America, or a lot of some of these Russian guys aren't speaking English.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that's coming from you're trying to pull the best refs possible to come in and ref? And yes, they'll be from some of these other countries and might not be speak English, or is it really like like an audience poll size? Like there's just isn't enough American refs to.
I'd probably say in the last about year, we've been slowly being able to pick and choose for the refs that we've been wanting to come. So CJ deals with all of that, but I know for a while there, we didn't have enough refs. Like World Cup, you're running 13, 14 fields. Like how do you get 140, 150 refs?
Yeah, that's tough.
So like we're pulling huge amounts from Europe because we need huge bodies. So I'd say since the Europe process, our Latin American crew, our North American crew, we've now got enough people in the core that we can start picking and choosing who we want to bring.
Cool.
Instead of just kind of taking bodies, essentially, not for lack for a better word, but we need people. You can't have 6 refs on a field.
No, nobody's going to want to play.
You can't do your job. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to have 10 refs on the field, and you need to have refs that have experience. So now we're at this point in paintball where we're growing enough, and we have enough refs that we can pull from all around the world to make it unbiased as possible.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, you don't need to speak English to ref.
You're right.
What do we do on the field? Do we have walkie-talkies on divisional fields? It's all hand signals.
That's a good point.
We communicate cross-field using hand signals, checking off all our signals to check where people are hit and all that kind of stuff. We reference zone coverage. We don't. The only time you hear us yelling across to a ref across the field is if we can't get his attention.
Now, you said you did say that you guys kind of have now a pool that you can pick from, the guys you want and stuff like that. But as a head ref personally, do you get to choose your field crew, or is that just randomly assigned?
That's all done by upper management. So like CJ deals with all the ref crew and assignments and who's coming and that kind of stuff. So basically, like semi-pro fields, obviously you're going to have your higher caliber guys there, which I'm going to accept. Like the pro guys, they're the set guys every single event. They have their 14 guys. That's their 14. So if we just set those guys 14 aside, there's 14 guys they pull from. Yeah,
the pros are really good at cheating, Rob.
We also have to remember now with the 20 pro teams, the pro guys don't get a lunch break.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, they kind of just
need
like
two extra bodies so they can rotate two guys off the field so they can get breaks.
Makes sense.
So like it's a completely different story over there. Plus their days are a lot longer. They've started at the same time we do, and they're always there longer than us now. They used to have the easy day with 16 teams. Now that there's 20, they have the longer and harder days by far. So they need those extra bodies. And it's pro paintball. You need those bodies on the field. You need those 2 laydowns on each side to make 4.
You need
those 5 guys upside minimum. So there's 14 guys on the field right there with no bodies off.
Yeah.
So
wow, I didn't even think about it like that. Wow.
Yeah, 5 guys up each side, 2 guys on laying down. There's 14 dudes.
So now we know that you don't pick the teams. Now that you said it, you don't pick your crews. But I've
been blessed with the chance of having the same crew almost every single time.
Nice.
I usually have like 1 or 2 guys that'll switch around, but it's all guys that I've all refed with before. They've all been on my field. They know how I ref. They know the days that we have, the teams that we have, and how the semi-pro works. Now, like semi-pro paintball is way faster than D5 paintball.
Oh, way faster.
Like, so you can't exactly have a ref that's newer to paintball or D5 caliber doesn't know how to talk to the teams or the players in semi-pro.
Yeah.
If they're going to stand there and talk to the players all day, they're not doing their job. If you notice on the semi-pro field, the refs usually don't talk to any of the players. They just send them to me or the head ref that's on their field.
Yeah, so that's your job to talk to the players.
Exactly.
It's not theirs.
One of the quotes I love saying to all my refs is, if a player talks to you, tell them to go speak to your head ref. And I explain to them, it's not that you're going to say anything wrong. It's that I get paid 25 cents more an hour to get yelled at. So why do you need to get yelled at when I can get yelled at?
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
So even though you don't get to really pick your crew, I know you've come up through the ranks. I know we have a lot of mutual friends, stuff like that. Who are your favorite people to ref with? Not just necessarily people that are on your crew, but like, is Phil one of your favorites? Stuff like that. Like, who are your favorite people to ref with?
Or your favorite types of people to ref with? Is there a certain style of that people have?
I would say my field in the NXL, everyone will agree with it. I get the international field. I have myself and usually 1 or 2 other Canadians. I'll have 2 or 3 Americans. I'll have 2 or 3 guys from the UK, 2 or 3 guys from Slovakia, a couple of guys from South America. And it's basically this field's mixed up of all nationalities.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one person has their own style of reffing. So there's not like any type of style that works. It's more so, it's like anything with paintball. The more you put ref together, the more you do the same format, the same caliber, you're going to mesh together. Mm-hmm. You're going to know that guy across from you, how he's going to ref every single time, what his tendencies are, where he's going to tend to be looking, what he's going to tend to be watching, or who he's going to be taking over for most of the time if he's got a weaker person beside him. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of reffing with the person enough and knowing what they're going to do in any situation. Just like playing paintball.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. And And definitely that the consistency of reffing with that same crew. It's like playing. Like if I play with the same 4 or 5 guys for the next couple of years, like we're gonna pick up those tendencies and like know those little innate things that you don't know unless you have the experience with them.
Exactly. And it's the same thing as like when that guy makes that big move up the center, which one of the 2 or 4 refs in the center of the field there are going to go and check them.
And there's some guys that don't want to do that because they got to run through that paint.
So you know who's got the tendency of who's going to go, who's not going to go. So if you know, all right, the guy across from me, he's got 2 snake beams he's got to jump over for this event. So he's never going to go in because it's just a disaster. So I'm going to have to go in every time, or I'm going to send the dude beside me. Most of the time, because I'm head reffing, I'll send the dude beside me. Not because I'm lazy. I'm going to send someone else to go run in for me. But that's not because I'm lazy. As a head ref, you're not just watching your one zone. You're watching all 10 refs on the field, 12 refs, however many there are. I'm watching all 10 players on the field. I'm watching my scoreboard, make sure it's still working, keeping track with my scorekeeper, watching both the pits, watching both the coaches, making sure they're not running up and doing things. And then I got the whole spectator side on the other side I got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it's not feasible for you to run and take your eyes off all that.
Yeah, so it's easier for me to send somebody else to go and check the guy, cover that zone of his and mine, and I can still deal with everything else. If I need to stop the game, I have the remote in my hand. But if I'm going in and checking someone, I got to drop everything. Obviously, if the guy's right in front of me, I'm going to go and check them.
Yeah.
But if I have to run 2 stairs away across the field, go into the 50, like break in the middle, I might send the guy beside me.
Cool.
Really fair answer.
So, I mean, I'm kind of looking at my list of questions here, and just there's a lot that you're talking about that I never really thought into the logistics of reffing. You know, I mean, especially with all the guys and all the zones that you have to keep monitor of. I mean, I know you have your scorekeeper, but like, how much do you work with the scorekeeper or the person, like the 1 or 2 people that's at that table? Like, do you lean on them for certain things? Like, if you see coaches coming in, is like, do you just turn around and it's like, hey, I need you to kind of keep those coaches in check? Like, what is that dynamic between the 2 of you?
So yeah, scorekeepers are a huge dynamic of the head ref like aspect. You can have a good scorekeeper, or you can have a really bad scorekeeper, and that will determine your entire weekend.
What is a good scorekeeper and what's a bad scorekeeper? I feel like it's just like clicking buttons.
So yeah, a lot of it is like might just be clicking buttons, but a lot of it is also making sure you have the teams ready, making sure that the score sheets are all signed at the end of it. If I have an issue with this, when I approve a point, I got to make sure that what I approve is actually the proper way. Because sometimes if the buttons get switched, or something happens and the point goes to the other team, I need her to go and fix that. And if they're not very fast at fixing it, that's downtime for the field. Or if one of the pit monitors goes down, I need her to either go and fix it or get Oldest or Z to come and fix it, or CJ. The longer that takes, the longer my field's down. If I don't have teams ready, I can't start my games. Score sheets aren't signed. If the score sheets aren't signed, that's the big one. Then is the score on the score sheet correct? What's the proper score? Nobody approved it. So then it all comes down to, at the end of the day, there's huge issues. So if you have a scorekeeper that's on the ball, watching what's happening, can get all of the score stuff done properly and efficiently, because after every single game, they have to go in, fill out all their information, approve it, upload the next game, make sure everything's right on the next game, and then run the clock on it. If I need extra time taken off, all that kind of stuff, she's got to do that for me. Or he. Majority of the time it's a she. But yeah. And then also, like, they're the ones who radio to get you your ice, to get you your water, to get you your snacks, if you need your lunch. Like, if I need squeegees, if I have a crony that's down, anything goes wrong on my field, they're the one that I go to get a hold of the people that I need to get it fixed. that can't leave the field.
Gotcha. So, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth, and especially like getting waters and stuff. I mean, like the dynamic within your team is pretty interesting. I mean, are there any like unspoken rules like within the ref squad, like you get the first water, or just like I don't know, just like
That was pretty weak unspoken rule, Rob.
I don't know. I don't know what there could be. Like if this is the first thing is like I get all the blue Gatorades. Nobody's allowed to get blue Gatorades but me, or like I don't know.
If there's a rule about that.
It used to be the new guy on the field would always lay down.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a miserable job.
But in semi-pro, the way I look at it, all my refs are basically all equal caliber. Not one of them is the new guy or the weaker link. So instead of making one guy hate his life and have to lay down, because a lot of people don't like it and they hate their life when they do it. Not that it's like, I love laying down, but I don't get to do it all the time. If I did it every day for an event, I probably might not like it because the ground's really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like Florida fire ants, like no.
Those are real. Those are very real.
Oh,
I
yeah.
laid in a fire ant hill while taking pictures. Not this past cup, but the cup before that, and my legs were thrashed.
Hey Rob,
having to lay down there all weekend.
Yeah.
And not being able to lay anywhere else.
Yeah, no, that sounds miserable. And sometimes like you have to lay down there. Like
exactly.
Like, oh God.
You see the ants crawling on you and you're like, oh, but the shot.
Yeah.
So on my field, I rotate the laydowns around. Every single match, the laydowns rotate with somebody else. So basically everybody lays down twice a day. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon.
That's not bad. You know what I mean? When
but
it's
I
like
also look at it as like that gives a person, every ref, the chance to ref in every single spot on the field. So come Sunday, you know what every single spot on the field, what you can see and what you can't see. So the bunkers that you can't see from that spot, you know, if you can see it from a different spot, you're going to help support that guy because he can't see it. So you know that you have to cover for him now. So you see different angles than what your other refs are seeing, so you know where to help them.
Gotcha.
So you get being tighter knit. You're not going to miss those shots. You're not going to miss that pack hit or lose coverage on a guy because you already know that guy can't see him. So it's like, all right, I know I can't see him from there. I'm in this spot. I can see him from here. I'll cover it. Done. You don't even have to have that conversation.
Do you guys do like, I mean, teams like when a new layout comes out that like they walk the field together, they practice on it for 2 weekends in a row. Do the ref squads do that? Like on like a Thursday, it's like, hey guys, we're gonna walk the field together. We're gonna try to understand our zones, or it's just kind of like, oh, here you go. Here's the 10 guys.
A lot of it, it's just a matter of what like you just go out there in the morning of, or like you can look at the layout when they released it and look on it on paper, and you can just look from standing up. So instead of looking at like what can you see from every bunker, you're going to put yourself on the sideline and looking across what bunkers can you see, what's not viewable, what do you lose coverage of. So in certain layouts, when they have all of the big bricks vertical up the field.
Yeah.
So as a 50 ref, you can't see past that.
Yeah.
So I can't see the inside of it, or there's more bunkers in there. So I'm like, now I'm lost. So now I have to tell the ref beside me at the beginning of the weekend, I can't see that. You know I can't see that. So you got to cover me from here. So it's just a matter of seeing in that first couple of minutes or on the paper and just being like, all right, this spot's useless. I can't stand here. I got to take 3 steps this way. But your spot's only 10, 12 steps long. So it's not like it's that much to look at.
No, that makes sense. I mean, do you guys like do like, I guess like a pep talk or whatever? I mean, like teams have their own like chants and stuff. It's like, how do you get your squad psyched? It's like, we're going to have a great fucking time reffing and we're going to fucking crush out here. There's going to be no fights or whatever. Like, how does that start out?
A lot of the pep talks just telling the guys like it's just another weekend at the fucking office. Like, this is what we do for work. We're all here to do our job. If you need a coverage on something, or you need a break, or you're dying, you need to get off the field because it's too hot or whatever, like, just let me know. If you can't do the job, like, just let us know and we can get people to cover you. That's not an issue. The biggest issue we have is when people drop and they don't tell us. And then it's like, now we're down a guy and you just dropped in the middle of a point and, like, you're dead. I can't even rely on you for like a 3-point break and coming back to help us.
Yeah.
So, like, my biggest thing is just trying to get all the guys to stay hydrated, make sure, like, if you need snacks, ice, water, that kind of stuff. My guys really don't need pep talks. A lot of it's just basically, like, control the game. At the beginning of the event, players are going to try and get away with stuff. They're going to push those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of it, you got to set the precedence. You got to set that precedence of, if they're going to talk after they're dead, they're going to continue to play on after they get shot. You're going to throw those penalties and let them know right off the get-go, this is how it's going to be the whole weekend.
That consistency. That's
exactly. So if you set it that way in the people's first match, come their second, their third, their fourth match, they already know what we're reffing and how it's going to be. So they're not going to try and get away with all that extra stuff. So it makes our weekend easier.
I gotta appreciate that. When I played college nationals down in Florida, they used to bring, like, a bunch of the pro refs to go ref, like, the webcast field, and we've always, like, me and a bunch of my friends, we've always said, it's like, honestly, one, it's the best reffing because a lot of the pro guys, but from a consistency standpoint, nothing's getting missed. Like, the penalties, doesn't matter if it's the first match of the day or the last match of the day, the same penalties are going to be thrown if penalties are getting thrown. Like, nobody's going to get, like, a little bit, like, it's not like at the end of the day people are trying to get out of here, so more penalties are going to be thrown or whatever. So I definitely notice that, especially when I'm shooting on, and I think, Sam, you can say the same thing, like, shooting semi-pro or the D2 fields, that precedent and that consistency is definitely there. So
it's nice because you get to take pictures of them throwing majors and stuff because you know when they're going to throw it.
Yeah. I mean, how do you pass that along, or, like, sink that into, like, some of these refs that are reffing the lower divisional fields? Because I've definitely seen it before. Like, they're, like, hesitant to call something, to call you out. Like, I've definitely had it to me, like, as a player when I was in Europe, the guy hesitated a bunch.
Absolutely.
And then pulled me. Just like, you can't wait 15 seconds to try to pull me and then pull me. Like, it's either you're in or you're out.
So yeah, like, we deal with that a lot at local events, because you get those refs that just don't have that experience or that knowledge of what to do in certain situations. A lot of refs will go against their gut feeling. They know it's a hit, but then they second guess themselves.
Do you see that it's like a confidence issue? Like, they just haven't been doing it long enough to be like, you know what?
That's the biggest thing. Like, a lot of these guys, you got to remember, if they only do NXLs, they're only doing it 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Like, how efficient can you be at your job if you're only doing your job 5 times a year?
No, that makes sense.
Like, I preach, try and ref as much as you can locally, get as many local events as you can, do your nationals. I definitely wouldn't recommend doing 45 or 42 like I've done the last couple of years. That's a little bit much, but get that experience. Get out there and ref 2 or 3 times a month. Go out and do 10, 15 events a year. And within a season of reffing that much, you'll start to see the tendencies of players and the tendencies of, like, what makes a major, what makes a minor. And you're going to stop second guessing yourself.
So one thing I want to ask you, and it's not really on our list of questions, but I want to ask you because I know you'll probably want to explain it. When a player says, "Ref, why aren't you checking him?" Can you explain why the refs aren't checking somebody across the field away from their zone?
Absolutely. So, like, as we were talking about with zone reffing, if I'm right beside you, reffing you, and the guy like horizontally across the field from you, so the guy in the snake, if he's with you, the inside of him or whatever, I'm watching you two. I got refs down the far end of the field that have the zone of the dude you're shooting at. So I'm not going to stop watching you and go run across the field and drop my zone when somebody else is already watching that zone. Now, if I happen while I'm freestyling a little bit, as I like to say, and glance over and see something, yeah, I'll yell down the line, like, go check that dude's pack. And on my field, my refs know if I send you to go in and check somebody and that dude's still playing, he's getting a penalty.
Yeah.
Because I noticed the hit, or somebody else noticed the hit and had you go in and check it. So 98% of the time, he's still playing. Or he's posting his gun, he's communicating, he's doing something that makes the playing on.
So, I mean, a lot of this sounds like, I know you guys use the hand signals and everything. The pro refs get walkie-talkies. Do you think it would make a big difference if the divisional fields as well got walkie-talkies? And do you think that
walkie-talkies?
That's fair.
But you despising it doesn't answer the question. Would it make a difference to other fields? Maybe not yours, but others.
The biggest issue with walkie-talkies is the amount of time that it takes you to grab your walkie-talkie from wherever it is, whether it's on a lanyard, in your pocket, on your strap, whatever, click the button, talk into it clear enough that the other ref, having it wherever they have, can hear it clearly enough to know what you're talking about. Most of the time, you can already have done that with your hand, or have gotten somebody being like, yo, go check that dude, to the dude beside you, and gone send somebody closer to that zone to go deal with it. So it's just a whole time issue.
It's just inefficient in a certain sense. Yeah.
Now, in a sense, when you're talking like, hey, like, I think there might be a hit on that dude's hopper. Like, I'm not sure. Like, maybe just go take a look. Or like, what's your opinion? And you'd be like, yeah, just rub. No worries. No worries. Like that kind of stuff, it works no problem. But you can do it just as easy with your hands.
Yeah.
I could get your attention, go like this, and then be like, yo, hopper? And then you could be like, no, hopper, it's all rub.
People don't realize the power of like your hand, like literally just you're cocking your head like that. Everyone knows that's a question.
Yeah.
And I like, feel like definitely like a lot of players, and especially in lower divisions, they don't know about all these hand signals other than like you're out. Like you definitely see.
That's not even. Oh, that is. I was thinking.
Clean. I mean, no, this is you're out.
No, I know. I was thinking clean because a lot of players think that's clean, but like that's not clean.
So like this motion,
is that clean?
I love when I give this to a player in lower divisions and they turn around and they do a 360. Like they think I mean spin around.
No,
it makes I laugh every single time. It's not spin around. It means you're good. Like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Is that people think that's
so
clean.
We don't use the baseball safe anymore.
Yeah,
just because it just looks obnoxious and it's not necessary when you can use one hand and just go like this a lot easier. And also from cross field as a player on the other team, you see me going like this in front of the bunker.
You know,
90% of the time there's going to be a dude in that bunker. But me going like this is a lot less conspicuous. You're already looking at me. You already asked for a paint check. So I can go like this, and I'm not letting every single player know where you are. Exactly.
No, that makes sense.
I used to ref. I know these things.
So do you think like a lot of these hand signals should be kind of briefed to teams, and especially lower divisional teams that are maybe playing their first NXL event, but they play regionals and they really don't know, like, do you think it would help for this to be a little bit more common knowledge or like posted somewhere?
So CJ did make a copy of it for the ref crew. CXBL had a copy of it back in the day. It goes over like all the signals to players and then all the signals that refs use to refs. And it's like, there's like 25 signals between the two of them. Very simple, like hopper, like check his pack, you like point at your pack and like just stuff like that. And like on his feed neck and just stupid stuff. It's pretty simple, like common sense stuff, but it just makes it a lot easier. What I've always been a huge preacher on is in regional series, is regional series that are like owners and stuff having like at the beginning of the season, either doing it online or doing something where players or coaches, you can have a representative from every team that wants to play in your league for the year join in, and they can go over question and answers with rules and how it works and like what classifies as majors, because there's so many people that are still stuck in X-ball that think like, oh, like he got shot in the face, he's playing on, that's a major. It's like technically only a minor because he didn't shoot anybody or move up the field.
Yeah.
He didn't affect the outcome of the game.
So even the refs sometimes they'll keep shooting and they'll throw it. Some refs, even though it's explained to them, it's not. They're also stuck in that mindset still.
Exactly.
If you've been reffing for 15 years, you reffed X-ball, and then 2 years ago you started reffing NXL, your mind might still be on. For 15 years, I threw a red for that.
Yep. And like, I really think league owners should have more interaction with teams about like how the rules work, because there's so many teams that don't know how the rules work. I'm going to throw a number out there, and I'm going to say 80% of the players in the NXL have never read the rule book. And that's probably a low number. I'm probably like should be higher, closer to 90, 95%.
The only ones that read the rule book are the ones that want to prove you wrong when you say a call is something.
Yeah.
Actually, I do know my friend Dave Freed, his girlfriend Wendy.
He didn't read it. He didn't read it.
He didn't read it. She read it.
She's not a player. She doesn't count.
She reads it. She's in the pits. She's helping out. She reads it, and she has it bookmarked on her phone at events, so that if something happens, she is diving into her phone, looking up the rules, and be like, and she's called out some people on some bullshit, and I've seen it before. So you definitely have the majority of people that don't really read into it, when if they did, things could either be swayed a different way. Conversations on controversial things could have been had a little bit better, instead of just like, oh, that's definitely a major, or that's definitely a penalty, or like, this is some bullshit call. And it's like, well, did you read the rule book? No. This could have been solved if you actually did.
And the one thing I do want to touch on is the amount of coaches or teams that don't take the head referee's ruling on the call as like what is in the rule book. Like, all of us head referees are head referees for a reason. 99.9% of the time, the calls and stuff that we make are the correct calls. But there's 80% of teams that don't agree with it, and they just want our bosses.
So, touching on that, as far as, the whole coach is not accepting it, stuff like that, what is like nothing that'll get you in trouble, so don't, no names, nothing like that, the dumbest thing a coach or player has come up to you and argued with you about? You can have more than one, but
I had one coach, so their team showed up late for an event. We pushed their first game back for 2 sets, and they were still late.
Wow.
So we had to give the win to the other team by forfeit, because like we waited 2.5 hours for you. They finally show up. They want to play it. The other team says, yeah, we'll play it, but like, we'll play it as a practice. We've already got the forfeit. Like, there's no point in, like, we're not giving that up. And we're just like, yeah, we already gave you the win, but it's like, you want to play them in practice, that's what they're asked. Like, that's what we would do. That's what the league is saying. And it's like, we have the space. Like, if you want to play the match as a practice, we'll let you play. But that score is not going to change. It's going to be a 4-0 forfeit. So we let them play. And then at the end of the event, he comes over with his phone recording the conversation that me and him are having, based on why I made the ruling that they would get a forfeit, yet we'd still allow them to play as a practice. And it's like, you guys showed up late, you missed your game, the rules say you forfeit. We waited and tried to let you guys play, but you still weren't there, so we gave you the forfeit. Out of the kindness of our hearts and the other team, we allowed you guys to play a practice game because you guys came all the way here. We're going to let you play paintball. We're not going to cut you out of what you paid to play is 3 games. I can't change the score, but I'll still let you play it. You paid to play.
It's already in the system. You can't change that.
Exactly. So they were fine with it at first, but they didn't like it at the end of the day because they didn't move on because of it.
Sounds like they're
so he comes over. The league owner didn't want to change it, so the coach comes over and is recording the conversation, trying to like argue with me and tell me like what I'm saying is not how the rules are working. And I'm like, well, the rules said you forfeited in the very beginning, so anything we did after that doesn't matter. It's the kindness of our hearts that we let you play. Like, you knew before you stepped on the field. It was just like, after everything's all said and done, they just want to complain and get their money back and get a refund.
Gosh.
When they're the ones who showed up late, and we tried to help them out.
Yeah.
Sounds like a personal problem.
I do have a question about that, and you probably don't remember, but did they even win the match that they practice played?
Oh, they got destroyed.
Oh, then who cares? that one point that
4-1.
Oh, that 1 point they would have.
Oh no, the 1 point. It's the margins, man.
Maybe they should have.
You know what? That 1 point would have made them move on.
Oh no way! Oh my god.
Maybe they should have 4-0'd another team, and they wouldn't have had that issue.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Is you should have bet on your other games, so it's not my issue.
Mm-hmm.
You should have bet on showing up on time and being punctual. That's not my issue.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, 1 point. That's rough. That's happened to me before. That's rough.
That's terrible.
And that was not a national event. That was a local event.
Oh my god, that's a local too. Oh,
they can't even be that mad anymore. Like, it's not like, I guess that some people only play locals, but it's not like you're shelling out $2,000 to fly out to a big city and play with it. You're playing. You're selling out $300.
They did drive. Like,
if it's in Canada, you're driving like 6 hours to get to a field.
Yeah,
so
no matter where it is.
They drove across 3 provinces.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
They drove for 18 hours.
Okay.
God.
That's a little bit more upsetting. But it's still technically a regional event that they probably didn't spend $2,000 for. They still spent regional money and just spent the extra to drive.
Exactly.
It's their own fault. They should have forwarded another team.
That's terrible.
But yeah, it was hilarious. I got a good laugh out of it.
I bet. So I know.
Go on.
I know that we were talking about like the reffing pool, and like now you guys can actually like pick and choose. I mean, before you're there, like, what can the league do, or just like even the reffing community do to try to encourage more people to become refs? Because I know it's hard. I mean, even at the local level, it's tough scavenging like even like 8 bodies to get out there, even at a local field to ref. So how do you encourage that? Is it a money thing, or just
the NXL pays very well. And for what you do, they comparative to other leagues, they compensate you very well. The main issue is a lot of these local leagues, I'm not trying to throw them under the bus, but their costs to profit margins are not as high as national events. You don't have as many people to choose from.
It's not going to be, yeah.
So you can't pay to have top tier refs. Now, there's some local leagues that over years you find out that if you don't have caliber reffing, your league's not sustainable. And honestly, that's the biggest thing I like to preach is if you don't want to pay for refs, you're not going to have happy players. And if your players aren't happy, your league's not happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then if your league's not happy, it goes back to the refs. They're not happy because they're not getting compensated. It's just a big circle. So if the league compensates the refs will compensate the players will compensate the league. And it just goes back. It's a big circle. But if one person becomes greedy and doesn't do their job to the next person, it all ends.
So do you think that even like at a regional level, like there needs to be some sort of vetting? Like if I'm doing a regional league, there's probably going to be like 1 or 2 D2, D1 or D2 like teams. Like, should that be innately like my first choice? Like, forget about the refs that are reffing rec ball or whatever. Just like, yeah, when I was in college, I reffed a local league. You know what I mean? There was a bunch of kids. Some of the kids that were on my team like never played tournament paintball until they started playing in college, and they were reffing. I mean, it looked like the guy was just like, I just need 8 bodies. I don't even care who comes. Just like, I need bodies, and just like pull people out. And like some people were pissed, and you know what I mean? You could notice it. So is that something that you would recommend to league owners? Like, you got to try to pull these high caliber teams.
Yeah. So like a lot of the leagues that are affiliated with the NXL and stuff, because majority of them nowadays all are, like, if you need reffing help, there's enough of us that are around all over the US. Like, you can reach out. Like, we're not gonna bite. We'll come and help you. But a lot of it just comes down to the cost scenario. A lot of these leagues, they've been getting by paying little amounts of money to local people that don't really know what they're doing 100%. So when your costs come in and you get doubled or a little bit on top of that, like it's hard for these league owners to swallow spending that much money.
Yeah.
No,
like if you only have 8 teams coming out to play an event, you can't spend $2,000 a day on a field.
No. That's probably what they may be making after all the costs and prize packages and what they're already paying the refs.
So that's $200 a day for 10 refs. That's okay money. It's not spectacular, but it's decent money. Like you'll get NXL refs that'll come out to ref for that. That's for what's the job you're doing. It's a fair wage. But if you cut that down to $1,000 salary between 10 dudes, you're down to $100.
Yeah.
No one for people that have refed for 4 or 5 years that have that experience and that knowledge and they're that skilled, they're not going to go and work for basically minimum wage.
Yeah, because you're there, you're blowing up the field, you're probably at least squeegeeing down the field.
Depending on national to local, your day starts between 5:45 and 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
We leave the field at earliest, like 6 o'clock earliest. Usually it's closer to 7. Some local events, like regional series, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So, like, some of these guys are there for 12, 15 hours and they want to pay them $100.
Yeah. That's not fair to them. And they're not going to want to come back.
These numbers that I'm coming up with, they're just figurative. So, like, the $1,000, 10 refs at $1,000 is $100 a ref. Yeah. If you double that, $2,000 is $200 a ref. I'm just using these random numbers.
Yeah, but it's still accurate. I mean, I know that there are some leagues I've been to that's what they pay the refs is $125 a day, which is
I've seen
local guys fine.
Yeah, for Facebook, so leagues like looking for refs like paying $150, $100 a day, and it's like for local events, a lot of the time it's long days of 12 hours. Like you divide that up, that's like $8 an hour.
It's not really worth
it. But like I'm not going to crawl out of the country for $8 an hour.
That's fair.
Not more than that in a flight.
No, exactly. I mean, I was shooting it, and I was supposed to be like a quick day. It was like 5 teams only, just like a super quick day. And like I asked the league owners, so because like it was me and like a bunch of other media people, was like, hey, like I don't know what you're doing to feed the refs or whatever. Like we have like bad cell service. Like whatever you're doing to feed them, like let us know. Like we'll throw in down money like to get food for ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we're here all day. And like the day started to be a little bit long. He goes like, well, I really wasn't planning on feeding them, but like I guess I will now. I was like,
you have to. I'm not gonna. At lunchtime hits and I'm taking my break.
This is blowing my mind.
I don't care what time I have a break, but as long as I have a break, I'm okay with whatever.
Yeah, food and cases of water are necessary.
Like there's days like if you're reffing and your field gets behind schedule for whatever reason, whether it be scoreboards, like team issues, or like you needing like management to come over, or like whatever your issue is, like netting comes down. By the end of the day, you have to have those games done.
Yeah.
So like in the morning, if you're 2 hours behind, you don't get a lunch break.
Yeah, no.
You got to make up an hour, and you get your lunch break there, but you still have to make up an hour before the end of the day. Like World Cup, the schedule runs right until sun goes down. You don't have any time to be behind schedule.
Yeah.
I'm stashing fruit snacks in my pocket like all day.
Well, you guys see what we do in our, like we have the coolers with ice. We put the fruit snacks right in the coolers so they're ice cold, like nice and hard. We have bottles upon bottles of water. Like we get the Mio squirts. Like we get taken care of. NXL takes care of us. I'll definitely applaud them on that. Like they even send out like every year, like, is there stuff in the snacks that you guys would want changed? Like stuff that you guys like aren't really wanting. So like we used to get veggie straws.
Yeah.
Those got cut. Now we get jars of dill pickles.
Nice.
Big, like, huge jars of, like, that's what we get now. That's what we asked for, and that's what they're getting us. So, like, they take care of us that way. we get fruit cups, fruit snacks, like, and then we get our lunches. We used to get Subway, but now they get the huge like sub platters from what's the rest? The grocery store.
Publix.
Yeah, that's it.
The
They just
greatest.
get the big sub platters. Like they're perfect. They fill
you
the spot.
had-
There's like tons of different types, and then you get a ton of cookies and chips and stuff for your lunch.
Have you
It's good.
had the chicken tender sub when you're a cup yet?
No.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you
All
gotta
right,
do that.
Cup time.
Do that.
Cup time.
That's-
I'll pay for the sub.
Put in the request.
If you like chicken tenders, that is. If you like
Oh,
chicken
yeah.
tenders, it's I have half of one if you want to see what it looks like, but that's what I was eating.
Also, the donut guy that's always there, fire. I don't know.
Dilly
if you-
Dilly.
Dilly Dilly Donuts.
Isn't that Frank Connell's?
Is
I
it?
don't know who it is.
I don't know who owns it, but that donut guy with the icing and like the strawberry, the blueberry syrup or whatever,
Yeah.
so fire.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. No. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Frank Connell's. Don't quote me on it, but I heard through the grapevine that might not be Frank Connell's, but it's one of the old school ballers. One of them owns it or something.
Yeah,
Might not be Frank Connell. I might have made a mistake on that, but it's one of the old school ballers.
Whoever runs that, please keep bringing it because those donuts are so good, and I'll always like stop by and just get a bucket of donuts and just like eat it like throughout the day.
One of the scorekeepers is the reason I know that is because she always every morning has a tub of them that she gets for free because she's really good friends. Like her family's really good friends with the old pro guy. I forget his name. I want to say it's Frank, but I might be 100% wrong on that.
Who's the scorekeeper? Are you talking about?
Not
Is it Alan Monica's kid?
Yeah, Cyan.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. No, Alan Monica.
Yeah.
They live in New York. They
Minnie.
live in my area. I love Alan Monica. They are probably the nicest
She's the
people
one
ever.
who
is that the
knows
outlet?
who owns it.
Yeah, who's going to be playing with us at ICC?
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Alan Monica. They're awesome.
When he said I've got to ask Minnie, I was like, there's no way that's Cyan. There's no way he's talking about Cyan. Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get back on topic though. So you said you ref like 45 events, stuff like that last year, and you said you've been doing that for a few years. So you're bound to have seen some injuries. You've had to have seen some injuries. What is the craziest one you've seen? I know you made masks come off, stuff like that, but what's the craziest injury you've seen?
Saw a dude break his femur.
Oh no!
Oh.
This is a bad topic. Let's switch.
Oh my god! I don't even. You know what? I'm not even gonna ask how he did it because it's probably some crazy thing that happened. But like that's
how did he do it?
Yeah, no. How did he do it? I gotta know. I have to know.
Trying to dive over a bunker.
Oh, yeah, that sounds
that'll do
right.
it. That'll do it.
Tried to go over the mini W back in the day, and his body, when it hit the ground, caught, and his legs kept going, and the scorpion got him. Because his momentum kept him going. So like his top half hit the ground, his back half went over, but then it flipped his top half over again, and it got his legs caught underneath him.
Oh, that sounds so painful.
Yeah, so note to players that always ask if they're allowed to jump over the mini W's. Technically, you're allowed, but I highly do not suggest it.
Yeah, please don't. That sounds terrible.
I've seen more people hurt themselves doing it than I could shake a stick at.
Wait, Straza pulled a muscle on your field in Vegas. Jumping over the snake beam. I saw because I saw it from I forgot which side I was because I saw it and then he hopped over and was just like, what is this guy doing? Is he not fully committing? I don't get it. And then it wasn't until after the match he goes dude, I pulled a muscle. This isn't good. Then the whole thing just went really bad midair.
Yeah, between their matches, I noticed he was hanging out in the shade by the ref tent with the Hypervolt, just massaging his calf, getting his calf the whole time because it was down in there.
Oh, those things are nice though.
Yeah.
I bought myself one.
Great purchase.
Shout out to Cody Chong. He's got a bunch of them. If you're Canadian and you're looking for one, hit up
after
Cody
this,
Chong.
After this, I might message you and ask you how much because those are nice.
Dude, they're great.
Well, it's Canadian dollars, bro.
It's even cheaper for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's just shipping's a little bit expensive.
Yeah, the shipping is gonna.
I'll just wait till the next NXL next year.
Yeah, or Cup if it happens. Hopefully, it happens.
Well, I'm hoping to bring the girlfriend down to Cup again and do Universal and Disney and everything with her again.
Nice.
We did that this past year and did 3 of the parks. So we're going to do a bunch more of them. The plan.
Nice.
It's a lot of
That's
fun,
awesome.
man. Come down like 5 days ahead of time and then do Cup. And then I fly home and it's deer season as soon as I get home. So I go right up to hunt camp and I'm in the bush for 10 days hunting.
Nice.
Gosh.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I can't get off work.
I am on the last flight out home Sunday night from Cup, all disgusting, and I go straight to work Monday morning.
Mhm.
It is miserable.
Yeah, right after Cup, I always take a nice week off because it's hunt season. So it's a nice way to just like end the season.
Oh yeah, I bet. So I know that we talked about like injuries, like the dumbest thing. I mean, Sam, if you could pull up the picture and you know what picture I'm talking about, Philly. What happened with Brawl and Padres? Huge ordeal. There's a picture with you and Jeff kind of pointing out like
It's not the best picture, but
it's not the best picture, but we have it. I mean, like it seems like the incident really took place off of the field, but as not just a ref, but a head ref, like how do you handle a situation like that, or like what did you do? Like, did you just immediately call like security? Because I know because I'm friends with Braden, like he does like a lot of infrastructure stuff. Like, was it immediately, hey,
good guy. I love
get on the
Braden.
phone, get him to come? Like something's about to happen. Because I know, like you said, like you got to keep the games going. You know what I mean?
That was that Sunday?
It was Saturday, I think.
I think it was Saturday. It was either Saturday when they played each other in prelims, or it might have been Sunday. I don't think it was Sunday because I was sober for it, and Sunday I was very drunk.
Philly event, I was running behind schedule on Saturday because that was the event we had Go Sports doing divisional webcast for the first time.
Which I wish they would continue to do. That was awesome, and just like they did it on Twitch.
It was awesome, except for having them switch all the time. That really messed me up in my schedules.
So I really liked having the webcast. I really disliked having D5 or D4 through semi-pro on my field. Like trying to ref a D4 semi-pro in the same set is really hard because you're going from one extreme to the next.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's something that they like from a scheduling standpoint, like that could get worked out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So like the next event, they gave me, I think it was semi-pro the entire time, and it was fine. We had semi-pro the whole day.
Yeah.
And then another event, they put it on a different field, and I think it was like D2 for the whole event. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, I really like it. It gives another aspect to the league. It definitely showcases like the semi-pro talent, and like there's a lot of teams in semi-pro that deserves the spotlight. Like look at this past season. How many teams did we lose from semi-pro up into pro? Was it 4?
Level NRG. I know that they both went up, but I think Diesel went up. Yep. So that's 3 right there.
And then what's the other team that's no longer that got taken over?
That was
ML Kings.
Oh no, ML Kings is still around.
No, this is in one team. There's 4 teams that left.
I don't think so. ML Kings has been pro for like 2 years now.
Elevation left. Level went up.
Energy bought somebody.
Yeah,
Diesel
Energy bought
up.
Boom. I think it was just 3. I'm pretty sure it was just 3. Yeah, just those 3
Okay, I might have been wrong. It might have only been 3. But still, 3 teams. And those 3 teams are still not bottom of the pack. Not one of those teams came last.
Yeah.
All of those teams had a win. So, like, looking at that, there's more talent in some of those semi-pro teams than the bottom tier pro teams, not bashing anybody. But we need to showcase some of that talent. Like, those are the people that are going to be up and coming. If you want to try and get paintball seen and, like, raised, we need to get as much paintball online and videoed as possible.
Yeah.
And, like, you guys do a great job on the media aspect of, like, the pictures and the videos and stuff for teams and, like, getting the teams their footage to try and promote. But we need, like, more Go Sports into the divisional, or, like, what the NXL does in Europe with their Facebook webcast.
Yeah.
We need, they should do that in divisional in the US. Matt Engels killed it over there. He did an amazing job. There was a couple of events where like the weather didn't help him by any means, and like he lost a lot of cameras. But what he can put on for free is really good. It's like a really good like service that they can provide. And whether it be semi-pro one event, D2 another event, like get some of these teams that are up and coming, some of the showcase and that media exposure through like game vid footage, right?
Yeah. Right. So
this situation, back to on topic. This was right after the game was over. So like the game's already over, buzzard already gone. So like anything I throw is not going to change the outcome of the game. I can't go back in time and add points in or anything. So like it was basically just try and defuse the situation, get the teams back in the pits. Because I think at this time, I'm pretty sure he was right in front of the Padres pit. Because they just come down the field and was right in front of the pit. So you know how heated it gets in paintball. So just try and defuse it. And it's like, Jeff, get back to your pit. Like, let's go. Come on. And you just kind of just give him that little escort to the other side of the field and diffuse it that way. And then what happens off the field? That's out of my range now.
Yeah.
Now that's on the security. Like, that's not our job to deal with. And no one would expect any of the refs to jump in to try and stop that off the field.
Yeah.
It's just not worth us getting hurt for.
Yeah, because I mean, like you said before, like if you drop a body, like even from the heat, or if you drop a body because like somebody gets punched in the face or whatever, like that's
same thing.
It screws up the field. You know what I mean? Like,
so I do have to say,
just pass on that topic.
Yeah, no, that's all fine. I do have to say though, because we did shout out to Jonathan Grego. This is his photo. I don't know if he has.
I have a story I can tell you guys off the air, but I can't tell you the story on the air.
That's fine.
Definitely. I mean,
more questions.
Yeah, I mean, starting to kind of wind down. Just quick thing, like dream event to ref. If you go ref any event ever, like coming up currently in the circuit or previous event, like what is a dream event that you ref, or like a dream like match like between like some powerhouse teams?
For me, honestly, it just comes down to like location of the event. To me, like no matter where what league I'm reffing for, like what teams are on the field, it's just another day in the office, as I was saying earlier.
So Huntington Beach.
Huntington Beach would have been legit. I wish I was like involved in the sport back then, like reffing. But yeah, I was only like 12 or 13 years old. Don't quote me, but that was a long time ago. How long ago was that? Like 13 years ago?
I don't know. I wasn't around.
Was it 2007?
I think it went to like 2008 or 2009, maybe 2010.
So 10 years ago, I was like 14 to 16 range in that area. Like, I wasn't traveling to Huntington Beach.
Yeah, no. That's definitely not.
I was having 2 reconstructive shoulder surgeries in that time of my life.
Oh gosh.
Oh God.
How'd that go?
I got to go from another one.
Oh
my God. I had 2 done on my right throughout high school from a football injury, and then now I have to go from my left one.
For a paintball injury, or just?
I've dislocated it once reffing back in CXPL days, and I dislocated it on Boxing Day this past winter, actually, rolling over in bed of all things.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a terrible story. I wish I had something better to tell people.
You gotta tell a cooler story than that.
Hey, listen, that bed put up a hell of a fight, though.
Oh, hell of a fight.
The scar on this side, I've got like a 9-inch long scar across the inside of my shoulder, and I always tell people I got bit by a shark.
See, that's the story.
That's a good story.
They swallowed my arm and like bit on my arm. It's like perfect on both sides.
There you go. That's the story that you need to be telling.
I would say after this other one though, that should be the shark arm, because football is still cool. Girls like when guys get hurt in football.
Yeah, I used to actually swim with sharks. I worked at Ripley's for a while, in all the tanks and stuff with all the animals at the aquariums. And then I went to school for underwater welding. So yeah, diving is right up my alley.
Nice.
I taught scuba diving in Mexico for a couple of months back in the day and stuff. So Yeah, scuba
All
diving is
right.
my pastime.
Scuba
One day
diving's
I
dope
gotta. One
hobby.
day you gotta teach me because I'd love to go scuba diving just once.
I
at
am an
least.
instructor, so
Perfect.
Do you do like deep sea stuff, or do you like to be
yeah.
more?
So when I went to school, it was for like underwater welding and working out on the oil rigs and stuff for diving. So like the deepest I've been was like 600 and change.
Wow, that's really
Gosh.
fucking deep. Jesus, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all during
That's deep
saturation
enough
and
that you
stuff. So
should.
like I took my sat course and stuff. So
word. So I mean, going back to reffing, you're
yeah.
currently you're reffing semi-pro. You've been a head ref for semi-pro for a little while. Are there any aspirations to go ref pro, or are you happy being in the divisional field? I don't really know how like one would transition, especially since it's like normally the same 14 guys all the time. Like, are they ever looking for new refs to ref the pro field?
So the pro field had I think 4 new people join them in the last 2 years. Just like some of the guys who've been doing it forever, just no longer doing it now and stuff. But kind of when you get into the NXL side of it, you get groomed to go into one of 2 paths, like to the possible path of going to be on the pro field, or you go into the path to be a head ref. Head ref and like pro staff were each the same, basically. We're the head staff of the NXL. Yeah. We get treated and taken care of the same way and everything. And we're just as important as any one of those guys, because if not somewhat more important, because if one of those guys don't show up, we can always pull someone to replace them. But there's only so many head refs. And the issue is like having competent, good head refs. It takes a lot of time to mentor them and get them to that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like head refs definitely are hard to find, and we're definitely far and few between. There's probably, I'd say, maybe 20, 25 of us across North America and like part of South America. There might be a few more, but there's not that many. Like when we have 15 fields at Cup, that's almost all of the head refs that we can pull. Like we usually mentor a couple of guys throughout the season, and we're putting a couple of those guys out on their own field, and that's kind of they're flying the nest. That's their sink or swim, I guess, for lack of a better word. That's where we get to see if what we mentored is going to work out or not, or if we have to try another one.
Yeah,
it's fair.
And it's not for everybody. Like I get yelled at a lot, and for some people, like they just can't take getting yelled at, and it gets personal, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been called a lot of words. I've been called a lot of things since my days of reffing, and it's a lot of the time you just gotta not take that shit personal. Yeah.
You should give us some examples.
Oh, I've been told that they're gonna go and slash all my tires in the parking lot, and that they're gonna meet me in the parking lot, and they better have an ambulance ready for me and stuff.
Oh.
Like I've been told everything. I've been told that I'm a racist. I've been told a bunch of things, but like you just can't let it get under you. You're there to do a job, and
people get mad.
People lose, or when they get mad, they're just going to look for something to blame or point fingers at. So they're going to do what they got to do. To each their own.
It's always the ref's fault. It's never the player's fault.
Oh, never. It's like playing video games. It was definitely a lag or a camper.
Oh my gosh.
But it's definitely not my fault.
There's no reason they should have added ARs into the gulag. I'm just saying I would win the gulag every time.
Yeah, no. But I mean, for somebody that's new to getting into reffing or is currently a ref and wants to try to become a head ref, like what words of wisdom do you have for them, or just like tips and tricks to like get better, to get to that level, or try to fast track them? Because definitely being that head ref and being that authority figure on a field, it's definitely an achievement, especially like if you're going to become a ref.
Absolutely. A lot of the divisional refs look up to the pro refs and the head refs. Like a lot of us have been around, we have that experience and know enough about refing that we're looked up to by a lot of people. A lot of the refs, the South Americans, they all call me Jesus.
That's very easy. Yeah, hair down with a beard. Yeah, you're pretty much Jesus.
So like, Like the South Americans love me. A lot of the divisional refs, like they all know me as Wilson, and like every time I walk past them, like everyone's always saying hi and like looking up to us. So like the biggest thing I have to say is, just don't be that guy that doesn't want to get down and dirty. If like a head ref tells you to do something, or the ref manager tells you to do something, you just go do it. Like, not every position and not every job is going to be glorious and easy. It's just a matter of if you put your time in and show that you care and you want to do the job, we notice that. Like, the head refs usually get asked every year who we think deserves to be given a chance, or who's doing well and who's not doing well. And like, we're trying to implement structures where we give ratings on all of our refs on our field every event. So we have some sort of basis of, this guy works really good with this one head ref, but he works terrible with everybody else because he likes working with that one dude. So we'll put him with that one dude instead of putting somebody else because he does a better job with that one person. But until we have that basis of information, we can't really figure out what people's true strengths and weaknesses are and what best suits them. Like, there's some people that are suited for like 3-man and 5-man games, and that's the style of wrestling that they are, and that's what they're really good at. So like, we're not going to take someone who's really good at getting those 3 people on the field quickly, getting all that done quickly and moving those games, because you never have enough time. How many times at events do you see 3-man and 5-man running until like 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. on a Sunday? Every event.
Yeah.
World Cup, we ref 3-man until nighttime. They brought parking lights over from the fucking parking lot.
Yeah.
They set up lights on the field. We refed until like 8 o'clock at night. I've done this 3 times at World Cup.
Every single team that gets knocked out enters into 3-man or 5-man.
Well, I guess, I guess I really only head over to the 10-man field because most of my friends, like, if they get knocked out, they get like, oh, they want to go play 10-man.
Like,
so, I mean, how do you get the ref 10-man? Because I feel like that's got to be the easy job. That's just like,
no.
That's just like cat herding drunk people.
Sorry,
that's not an easy job.
I can answer this question because my first event reffing was World Cup 10-man, and I was backline. So don't ever say that was easy or fun, because it was not.
Yeah, I feel like that's more of like herding cats than it is like reffing, I guess.
So I like to, I have a metaphor that I use for paintball, and it's literally like herding cats. Trying to like run a paintball field is like trying to herd cats. The players and the coaches and the refs and everything, and just trying to make it all work. It's literally like a herd of cats.
Yeah, and then 10-man is just a drunk herd of cats, which now that
a drunken mess of
now that I talk through it, it's definitely a lot worse.
Yeah. 10-man is just dealing with that. You've got 10 guys now shooting their guns, so it's just way more paint. So anytime you have to go in to pull somebody,
oh my god,
because nobody's leaving the field because they're all drunk and they don't care anymore.
Yeah,
you get shot like 100 times just to go and pull the dude once and throw a penalty on him. Yeah, it's like it's not fun. It's funny to watch sometimes what happens, and like it's entertaining. But yeah, you get shot a lot.
Yeah,
and like
Yep.
Yeah.
I have my buddy has this guy that I know. He has a picture of him cracking a beer on the field and drinking it while rolling his gun while playing 10-man. This was like AC, the first AC that happened. It was amazing. It was hilarious. It was so much.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And I feel like I mean, there's also the video of Nick Delaney going Facebook Live on the 10-man field, which is epic. I mean,
iconic.
Iconic. And the fact that Stretch got it on as a picture is even better.
Yeah, so like 10-man, the boundaries of like the reffing side of it definitely get stretched a little bit. Like all those teams have already been kicked out. They're kind of just playing to have fun at that point. Like there's a little bit of like pride and winning and stuff in it, but a lot of it's just them having fun.
Yeah, I mean the open division is like 3 teams.
Yeah, so like reffing, you also have to put that side of it into it. Like you're not going to come out there guns blazing, all gung ho, throwing like gross majors and all this kind of stuff because the dude's cursing somebody out. Like, 10-man, everyone's drunk.
Yeah.
No, there's no
Unless it
filter.
gets like out of hand, it's a different story. But like everyone's kind of cursing each other out in 10 man because everybody's drunk. It's just 10 man.
Yeah.
So like it's that side of it too. Like you're not gonna take a ref that only refs by the book and doesn't know that on and off of like, all right, we're in a different format, different type of thing. Like you're not gonna go and throw them on 10 man because it's just gonna be a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
I mean, I never
there's
really.
a lot that comes down into like how CJ decides who goes on what fields and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the logistics behind it is. I mean, it's got to be a nightmare. Like I never even really thought of it that way, and just like the organization, or just like from like a human resources perspective, is just like who's gonna fit well with who for like a team, reffing certain formats within like X ball, 5-man, 3-man, mech, 10-man. I don't even. Is there anything else that they do? I feel like they do something
mounds,
pump, mounds. Jesus, I. God,
and they have those. Then now they're setting up those like little try it out booths, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no refs on that though.
I know, but I'm just saying. Just gotta give Rob more things to think about.
So like, I get brought in a day earlier, and I do airport shuttles. So like when all the refs are flying in on this Thursday, like I'm paid to go and shuttle them from the airport to the hotel.
Which is
so like from that side of it, like the NXL shuttles people from the hotel to the field. So like when you fly in, you send CJ your flight schedule and stuff when you're supposed to land, like if you have customs and baggage and your airline and stuff. And then you get put into an email chain with me, and then I make a list of timings and everything and tell you exactly where to be picked up and everything. So like the NXL takes care of you on literally from the minute you land until the minute you get paid.
Then after that, you're out.
And then like we used to give shuttles on the way home and stuff, but a lot of the refs like either have a good night the night before and are late getting on the shuttles, and they miss their shuttles, and then people are missing their flights and stuff. So we just started making refs accountable for their own rides back to the airport, just because everyone has their own ideas of how early they want to be at the airport, or if they went out drinking on Sunday night, like they're not going to want to be at the airport 2.5 hours before their flight when that's the only shuttle that works for them.
Yeah.
So then like you can't schedule it because nobody knows their plans and what's happening. So it's just, I have a list and nobody shows up, and it's just a waste of my day. So we stopped doing that.
Oh.
But yeah, they literally have you looked after from checking into the hotel and everything. Like they book the hotels and everything for the refs. We're all together. I used to run ref meetings for all my guys, all the refs on my field every night after every day. We'd all meet up in my room and go over like things that were good for the day and things that obviously didn't go well for the day.
Just like any other team.
Exactly.
Literally any other team. I mean, even like the media guys, like we all do the same thing. Like as you're sitting down, dumping cards, trying to do like a little teaser album, whatever, kind of going back and forth is like, this is a good shot, or just complaining about like, I hate this one team because they fucking overshoot me. Like, I feel like every like tribe or like grouping or community that like goes to these events, they all have that like post-day meeting of good things, bad things. Like I feel like it's just innate that it's one of those things that's part of paintball. Like it's just always done.
A lot of people all have this like idea in their mind that the refs just go back to the hotel and we all get trashed every night and we come back to the field hungover the next day. But my guys, I don't allow that to happen. Like I hold them to a certain like accountability and standard. You're here to do a job. You're on my field for a reason. Prove to me that you want to be there. If you're gonna fuck off or fuck around, like I have no problem kicking you off my field and pulling somebody up.
Somebody that wants to be there.
Sam, you know, like that's in divisional, like all those divisional refs strive to be on the semi-pro field.
Yeah.
And then they know from there they want to be on the pro field. Mm-hmm. But they all want to be on the semi-pro field. So if somebody on the semi-pro field wants to fuck around and show up hungover or doesn't want to do their job that day, I'll kick them off and find the next guy that wants to be there.
Which isn't hard to find.
Because there's 30 other dudes at least behind them that want that spot. So like, that's another thing where like I hold my guys accountable when I can because there's so many people that want to ref semi-pro and look up to the guys on my field. And that's one of the things I like to tell all my guys is like, you guys are mentors to a lot of these people. You might not know it, but they all look up to you. They all want your job. They all want to do what you do.
So act like
right?
it.
So exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this has been super eye-opening to me. There's so many different parts about everything that I really never thought about, or not even just thinking about it. Just I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's way more in depth than a lot of people think. You know what I mean? Between the logistics, understanding the workings as a unit, how to get refs at the field, and like what it takes to like become a ref. Because I've definitely seen it, like walking, especially on a lower divisional fields. People are saying just like, where are these people coming from? There's a guy that speaks nothing but Spanish in the corner, and I'm asking him a question. I have no idea what he's saying, and he refs like dog shit. But I mean, you guys have put in the time to vet each of these people at some point to make sure that they understand what they're doing. They understand the hand signals. They do know the chain of command with the head ref, talking to the scorekeeper and everything. And I honestly think that you guys are pretty undervalued. You know what I mean? For what you guys do. I mean, you're telling me that you guys are getting paid pretty well. But I mean, like, you guys eat a lot of shit from a lot of people that, like, a lot of the time it's just not deserved. You know what I mean? It could be a very easy conversation, and people blow shit out of the water all the time and blow up. And like, I definitely understand. It's like there's a lot of emotions going, like games are riding on the line, but and the best I can see it is brawl. You know, Tom Sellers, he's been on your field. He's probably one of the calmest people I know trying to get answers about anything. He's also one of the nicest people that I know, and I love talking to him. He's a great
There's a lot of coaches that, well, in semi-pro, there's almost like 95% of them now that I've made that like relationship with, basically, where if I tell them what happened on the field, I'm 100% sure that's what happened on the field. If there was anything that I might disagree with what happened on the field, I'm going to get to the bottom of it and find out what actually happened and make the adjustments that need to be made if any adjustment needs to be made.
Yeah.
And like, if my guy fucked up, I'm going to tell you my guy fucked up. Like, I've had that conversation with quite a few coaches over the years. Like, my guy made the wrong call. Called your guy out. He wasn't shot. But after he calls him out, he's out. I can't put him back in the game.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'll go right up to the coach and tell him that. It's like, I'm not going to lie to you. My guy fucked up. We fucked up.
It happens. And everyone's human.
But being honest goes a long way. And I tell all my guys that if you fuck up, you tell me. Because if you don't, I already know you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So you better be honest with me.
Yeah.
Because like, if you try to say like, oh no, he was shot in the pack, blah, 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 it's like, I know you're lying. It's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of those coaches, because I've made that reputation of being honest and telling them like, this is what happened. We fucked up, or this is the call that happened on the field. And like, we might agree to disagree, but we don't get into those arguing and yelling matches. So like, I'd say last season I had very little amount of issues with coaches and having to have CJ or Z come over to deal with the issues. A lot of the times now you already have that relationship and it's like, all right, that call on the field, we're good. And it's done with. But a lot of that's just making that relationship with those coaches. So owning up the mistakes that we make.
Do you think that it would be good for coaches to go up to head refs, try to make the introduction, you know what I mean? Try to get ahead of before tensions are in the air and like things are like all the emotions are raging, to have that conversation of like, hey man.
So my biggest thing with coaches, I would say, is you got to be clear-headed. You can't come at me blowing your top, screaming, cursing and swearing and calling me every name in the book. It's not going to help your case. But if you come over, talk to me like a human being and say, like, I disagree, like, I think this is what happened, do you mind asking your guy? I have no problem going asking the guy that threw the penalty or the guy called the guy out and being like, what happened? Give me your side of the story. And then if I need to, I'll go ask the guy beside him to see what he said. If all the stories match and back up, then I'm going to go to the coach and be like, this is what happened. Like, this is what my guy said. But if what my guy said matches what the coach said, well, now I have something to work with.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to make those steps and go and find out what happened if you're already cursing me out and yelling at me.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to. I don't care about working with you if you're gonna treat
exactly. So that's the biggest thing I give to coaches is like advice is if you're calm, courteous, and polite to the head ref, he'll go and find the answers for any questions you have. But if you're coming in and starting the day off cursing me out and yelling at me, I don't have any time for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm probably just going to be like, okay, turn around and start the game.
Yeah.
It's a fair,
there's nothing else I can do.
It's fair.
Anything I say or do is going to be wrong because
yeah.
you're already upset. So I'm just not going to deal with it.
Yeah, you're already irrational. Why would you try to rationalize something that that in their mind you already messed up so badly that they have to yell at you because you're a child? All right, I'm a child. I'm just going to do what a child's going to do. Silent treatment.
I find in North America it's worse than like reffing in Europe and South America. I find in America everyone needs to. Well, not in America, North America. So like Canada is just as bad, if not worse. But everyone
so much for nice Canadians.
Stretch would be proud to hear that.
Oh,
Stretch would be so happy to hear this.
There's maybe like a quarter of the Canadian paintball population that's nice. The rest of them are assholes. But they can be assholes. And like in Canada, when we want to be an asshole, like we have no issue being an asshole to you. And like we'll give you your peace of mind. But I just find in like North America, when people lose, they always need somebody to blame and they blame it on the refs. Or like when they lose, they get pissed off and they're buying flights and they're going home Sunday night or Saturday as soon as they're done. Like you go to Europe, when teams get knocked out, they're there cheering on everybody else through the rest of the tournament. They're there drinking beers,
I have noticed
having a good time.
There's a lot more camaraderie.
It's a social and camaraderie event. Like they might have got kicked out, but they're also there to have a good time and a vacation. It's not just paintball to them.
Have you tried the Osala from the Osala guys out of the gas can? Oh yeah, yeah, you gotta. These guys coming from South Africa bring the drink. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's some good. I had it in Chantilly. Woo! Oh man, they make it with worm root. You don't even know about that, Sam.
So if you go to Russia, do not let the locals buy you beer at a convenience store that comes in a plastic 2-liter with no label.
No, I can't drink beer, so that's not an issue.
Explain.
So it's a 2-liter bottle of beer.
Okay.
And you buy it at convenience stores. There's no label on it. It just looks like a pop bottle. And Dimitri bought it for Tim and I, a bottle each, and we drank it. And the next morning, we were absolutely fucked. And like, this is Russia. You're allowed to drink in the moving vehicle as long as you're not the driver.
Okay.
So it's an hour and a half drive from the field to Dimitri's house. Tim and I are drinking our faces off in the back seat of the car legally. So the next morning we wake up, we're smashed. And Tatiana, the one who like runs the Russian Paintball Federation over there and stuff that brought us over, she's like, "You guys look rough." And I was like, "Yeah, we're fucking hammered right now." We're like, she's like, "What did they give you guys?" And we're like, "Well, they brought us to this convenience store and they gave us this 2-liter bottle of beer." And she's like, "Oh, that beer.
Oh my god.
They're like 60% alcohol.
It's homebrew.
Oh my god.
Vodka beer.
Oh my god. He set you up for failure is essentially what just happened.
Yeah. And of course, like in Russia, like we're there for 10 days. He had to do this Saturday night when we have to ref the next day. So like, and we only had 7 hours off.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
And that's when we did the 30 hours and 37 hour span. Like it was a disaster.
Yeah.
So in Russia though, every 2 matches, because it's indoor,
Yeah.
mandatory smoke break, all the refs off the field outside, cigarette time. They
Nice.
smoke cigarettes like fiends over there.
Oh yeah. That's fantastic. That's hilarious to hear.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. Wow.
Yeah.
And I want to go to Russia.
Oh my God.
Russia was crazy. Getting a visa for Russia is not easy.
Oh, I've heard. I know I can't go to Russia, but I'd like to go to Russia.
Tim and I got our visa in 4 days.
Because
Wow.
of the Russian Federation paintball.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
over there,
that's
it's basically like government funded the same way like sports are here in North America. So like soccer and baseball and that, and like hockey and stuff. Like if you can't afford to go and play that as a kid, your parents, like the government will partially pay for it, right? Same thing as paintball over there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
They're way ahead of our fucking society on paintball, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I thought you have to be like 18 or something. Or is that Germany? I think that might be Germany. That you have to be like 18 to.
Maybe Australia.
Australia too. Germany, you can't bring outside guns in. It has to actually have a
The F stamp.
stamping
Yeah,
in beside the serial number. They won't allow it in the country.
DLX F stamps every gun, I think.
Do they know?
I think every gun by DLX is F stamped, and I think I could be wrong about Planet Eclipse, but I'm pretty sure Planet Eclipse F stamps it too because they're in Europe. I think they automatically F stamp it there anyway.
I'm pretty sure the North American ones aren't F stamped because it costs extra money to have that serial number sent into the.
They might not be that. I'm pretty
Because I
sure
know some they couldn't host the European event in Germany because of that issue.
Yep. Yep. I know some people they would fly into like Amsterdam and then they would drive over the border.
Yeah. So like when I did the first year of Prague, I flew into Germany and then took a bus over to Prague.
Nice.
Germany is a beautiful city. That's one thing I got to say. Is
Germany is a country.
Sorry, Berlin. I meant to say Berlin. I flew into
Let's go to the
Berlin.
city of Germany.
Fuck. Yeah, there's one thing paintball has gotten me around the world to places that I'd never seen without paintball. Like, I'll give it that. Like, I never thought I'd go to Russia. Like, I've been to Europe. I think it's 7 times in the last 2 years because of paintball.
Nice.
So I'm getting around there. I'm trying to still figure out like a couple other leagues and tropical destinations like down in Africa and stuff, and hopefully someday out in like Australia and stuff. But
that'd be dope.
Yeah.
It's so expensive to get over there, and I still need to make money.
Yeah.
That's
expensive.
That's pretty important part is like actually putting money in your pocket.
Yeah. So
I still work a full-time job here, so I can't take time off of it to do paintball.
That's fair.
Like the last couple of years I've been paintball full-time, and then just like random days helping out my uncle and stuff back home. But now that coronavirus has hit, it's completely changed.
So we are going to be wrapping this up here shortly. We're going to stay on. We're going to stop recording, but we're going to stay on. I want to hear that story you can't tell us on the air.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Rob, do you have anything else you want to ask?
I'm pretty good. I mean, the last couple of questions that we have are, have you heard about the media gang? Like, do you know what it is? What are your thoughts on it? And did you notice all the Hawaiian shirts on Friday in Vegas?
Oh, he's going to get angry again.
I noticed there was a lot of them, but I've noticed you guys kind of been wearing like tropical shirts. Like Fava's been doing that for a while, right?
Yeah.
But when you guys all bombarded the pro field at once in the Hawaiian shirt, that was epic. Like I heard that down through the grapevine on Divisional.
Yep.
Like, you made a statement when like I hear that in Divisional, the complete other side of the complex.
They kicked us off. They kicked like four of our guys off because they were in Hawaiian shirts because it was deemed too distracting.
Yeah.
So Do you know Aztec Photos?
Yes.
Where's the big hat, orange shirt?
Yeah.
So the funniest thing about it is that Aztec is wearing a bright orange Hawaiian shirt. It's like, you're going to need to take that off. That's too distracting. He takes it off, and he is still wearing a neon orange Aztec Photo shirt and walks back onto the field. And it blows my mind. And the fact that Fava's been doing it for like 5 years now, and it hasn't been an issue. I don't get it. I think it's because people on the Go Sports chat for like the live stream.
Oh, we're
stuff,
like, why is there 12 dudes in fucking Hawaii?
100%, 100%, 100%. There is nothing in the rule books that says you can't be doing this or like wearing shorts or doing all this other stuff.
Oh, I guarantee you, Gary Baum's having to make adjustments to that.
Probably.
Yeah, Tom Cole or somebody is going to say like, well, it's probably going to be Tom Cole's going to be asked to do it by Go Sports, but yeah.
Yeah,
I guarantee
like,
you there's going to be something about like the flashiness of your jerseys and that kind of stuff now.
I mean, so they were saying it's like no more shorts on the pro field, no more tank tops. Like Trevor Will always in his tank top. Same thing with Nina. You know what I mean? Dane Hawkins wears shorts like every single event. I don't think I've ever seen that man in paintball pants ever.
I don't want to call anybody out, but why were we not allowed to wear shorts, but the guys working for Go Sports were allowed to wear shorts?
Yo, facts.
The refs are allowed to wear shorts as long as they're either paintball shorts or cargo shorts.
Yeah.
Still shorts.
Yeah, they have to be cargo or like paintball pants.
Like
they can't
like
just
the
be
tie
like,
pants like that.
Yeah, you can't just wear like your gym
basketball
pants to the paintball field. Like that's not gonna happen. You can't wear basketball pants, but shorts. But like you can wear cargo pants, shorts, and paintball shorts. That's about it. But what was I gonna touch on?
Media gang, just in general.
Yeah, I definitely see them changing a ruling on what you guys are allowed to wear. I really like media jerseys. I've been a big preacher of that in a lot of the local leagues. Is if you want to take photos, you can sign up for the season or whatever, or there's only so many photographers allowed. And if you sign up for the season, your logo will be on the media jersey and everything, but it's a league assigned jersey.
My thing
you can have your logo put on it, but that way, as a ref, I clearly know who's supposed to be on the field as a media person and who's not. Because these head straps, there's lots of media people that are, one, try and get away with a previous event strap, thinking that we're not going to read it. Or they just, I'm switching my goggles out, like I'm wearing my other goggles. And it's like, well, I know who you are. I know you have a pass, but it's not the point. Like, I'm going to get yelled at for letting you on the field.
Yeah, that's very fair.
I'm totally okay.
And it looks way more professional.
I'm totally okay with media jerseys. My thing with that is if I have to wear your designated jersey, why do I have to pay for a pass too? Like for the money we have to pay, because we have to pay for us to sell pictures. I think it's like $200 or something like that.
$150.
It's $150. If we have to pay if we have to pay $150 for us to be able to sell our photos, why can't we wear the shirt that we had custom made for us? So I'm okay with wearing that, but the price of that I feel should be lowered if we have to do that.
I mean,
but they'll put your logo on the jersey for free if you sign up for the year.
Maybe we have to buy the jersey then.
So
no, it's still a league jersey, but since you're paying for the year and you signed up for the whole season, you're paying $150. They'll give you the jersey.
Well,
for
no,
$150.
It's $100. It's an event. Yeah, it's per event.
Yeah, I know. So if you're paying $150 an event, I'll give you the season jersey. Is what the league should be saying.
But
and we'll put your logo on it, but it has to be the generic media jersey with your logo on it. It can't be like
that's the thing
this neon green, this neon yellow, this neon blue, like all these different things. I just think from a professional standpoint, like when you go to a football game, all those media people that are right there and there on the sidelines, most of them all got fucking flashy reflective vests on. Like, you know who they are. They all got like badges. Like, you know who they are.
They do get to wear their shirt underneath though.
Yeah, but they're still identified by something that is given to them by the governing body.
Yeah, I'm totally
Okay.
okay with that. I just and I the problem the league we're talking about right now is obviously NXL. So
Yeah.
they're not gonna give us the jerseys. That's just
So in
not for a few years,
Canada,
like how they do with Canada might, but the
so in
NXL
Canada, he only allows like 7 or 8 media people per event.
Mhm.
So if you want to sign up for the whole year and have your spot for every event, he will do that for you and put your logo on the jersey, and you get your jersey for the year. But that way, he limits to how many photographers are out there, because we all know, like on semi-pro, same as the pro field, when it's a match between two good teams or like two heated teams, there's like 35, 40 media dudes on the field.
Yeah.
And then you put 12 refs on the field, you've got 50 guys on the sidelines, and there's only 10 people shooting each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely ridiculous sometimes out there.
Like, I have no issue. I love the media guys. You guys, like, I have no issue with you guys any of the time. There's a couple of the newer guys that I like that come to like one event. They're like local to this area, and it's like, oh yeah, it's my buddy's team, like blah blah blah, and it's like they're just right in front of you the whole time, and it's like, bro, get out of my way.
Yeah.
Like,
we all have to have some sort of mutual respect for each other.
Yeah, and it's like 99% of the media guys, like, I have no issue with. Like, I shoot the shit with you guys all the time. We have good shit, but there's that like 1% that like I just bitch at all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's coming from inexperience. I mean,
absolutely.
We've had this conversation kind of within ourselves about how media is booked, that how there could be a little bit more synergy. I don't even know if synergy is the right word, between the league and media people. Because I mean, one of the biggest things about being media is like you still want to be independent. Like, and that's the nice thing that we did with the media gang is like we as a collective are able to provide our own individual services. Everybody has their own rates. Everybody has their own styles. But as a grouping, we are now a presence at these events. Like the media gang will be at every NXL events with a bunch of people. I mean, Vegas, we had 13 people in the house. Cup, we had 11. I mean, going into Texas, we're still going to have, I think we're going to be down like 1 or 2 guys. I mean, we still got 10 guys that are all premium photographers and videographers. So
one of the things I really like, is like for Vegas, some of us couldn't take a team or two. We just post up in the group chat. Anybody have room for this? And it's easier for someone to just message somebody, and if they can't take it, they can blast it to everybody else that's going to be there. Absolutely. It's really easy, instead of before where no, but this guy might have it. No, we just ask and we say these are the people who have it, these are their prices.
So yeah, it's way easier than like feeling bad that it's like, yeah, like, shit, like I'm gonna grab this extra fucking team, and it's like, oh shit, I only got one of their games, like, because of scheduling.
Yeah,
like
that's
so
something we did
like,
too.
you know your limits, you know your limitations. You're not going to try and push past that because like you're trying to get this team coverage. But now you have this whole group of guys that's like, I can't do it. I might know a guy. Give me a minute. You can go and fucking hit everyone up, and somebody's going to have space for it. Or like between the collective of you guys, I'm sure somebody will already be on that field, and it's like, yo, grab me pictures from this game.
Yep.
Like, you guys can work with each other.
That's something
like,
we all
before that. It's just like there's no like collective with the media. There's just a bunch of like individuals coming to take pictures.
So I mean, and exactly to that point, like if it goes to limiting how many spots or like how many media people can be going to event, like what is a number that you can cap it at, especially like going to World Cup? There's so many teams and so many different formats and so many different fields. Like, how do you cap it? Is it a qualification? Like, I mean, if you ask me like 2 years ago, going to Cup 2018, that was my first ever national event I ever shot. I didn't book any teams, but I had to shoot. I'm one of the owners of Kinetic Paintball, so I went out to go shoot my teams. So if I don't have like a portfolio before that, am I not allowed to go shoot my teams that I go sponsor? Like it dives deeper into like, what are you doing? Because I've seen some leagues saying like, you got to have you got to have a site, you got to have like 2 letters of recommendation. Is like, that's for some people, like not everybody has a site. Like I don't need to invest the money into site for what I'm doing. And especially like if it's just like a photographer that is like, I'm going to this event because it's close by and it's like in my region. I just want to go shoot my buddy's team for free or whatever, or they're going to pay me a little bit of money. Like, how do I, like, I don't want to get excluded because now there are limited spots. And for the most part, if there are limited spots, it's going to go to the people that are able to make it to every event. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think it's a tough conversation to have when it's limiting spots.
I think a lot of it just comes down to limiting on-field numbers. Like, once there gets to be so many on the field, it's just like, do we need this many? And it should be like when there's crazy games and it's like, for an example, like last year when you had Brawl and Padres, there was like 100 photographers there. Like, I could barely get out of my zone to take a step on the field without stepping on somebody.
So, I mean, with that, I mean, I'll even notion back to Solus. He posted very publicly saying, please make more sideline room, because he acknowledged,
absolutely,
especially if like he's a videographer, he's got his whole tripod set up, like he needs a little bit of room, but also he doesn't want to be close to the field. He wants to make sure that space with you guys. So is this something as an issue that could be like, just make the sidelines 2 or 3 feet bigger on each of the sides? You know what I mean? Could that fix this issue? So now, like, if you have a ton of media people on the sidelines, you're not going to be able to step. You don't have to worry about stepping on them because there's enough space for everybody. So I think there are multiple ways for solutions, and it's finding that balance of what's going to work best. And especially like if fields are now bigger, like if you're going to need more nets, it's going to cost a little bit more. But you can then bring in more media people without having that issue, and now you can generate revenue from
more
those media passes sales.
Yeah.
So,
hey Rob,
yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I've watched the sun go from high in the sky to dark now behind Ryan, and I'm sure he wants to get going too. So we should wrap this up.
Yeah, that's fair.
His headphones just died. He's now,
they did die. Yeah.
With that being said,
I love the idea for more space. I'll just end on that. I wish I had space.
More space is always good. But definitely, we'll cut it off here. Thank you so much for, holy shit, it's been about 2 hours to cut out this time and sit down and talk to us. This has been super eye-opening, and it's definitely a perspective that a lot of people don't see from, and especially you're a well-respected head ref. Like, unless you're on the playing on the semi-pro field, most players won't know you. So you're a true authority in this space, and it's really good to hear some words of wisdom and a lot of thoughts and hearing about a lot of the logistics that 95% of the people just really don't know about. And I hope that people who do listen to this podcast really get an eye-opening experience to what it takes to be not just a head ref, but a ref at an NXL field, or a ref at any field in general, like the ins and outs of like do's and don'ts, and like learning how to get that confidence. Experience goes a long way, and that it's having that, being able to have the conversations with players or coaches in a very civil manner goes much further than a time bomb.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been my pleasure, guys. It's been 2 hours that flew by. Let's say that. Fuck.
Yeah, we could talk forever. We could talk forever, but we can't talk forever. You know?
Yeah, we'll have a couple of stories we still got to share, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna end it, but I'm not gonna end the call.
Yeah, so
good. Once again, we want to thank you for coming on. We hope this wasn't too long for you, and we can't wait for this episode to drop. Rob, you have anything else you want to say before?
That's it. That covers it all. Thanks, everybody.